It's back. It's inescapable. It's early 90s pop music. If you're new to the channel, I comb through thrift shops and garage sales for cheap CDs that I don't know much about. I dive deep into them and review them here on this channel. Welcome to One Man's Tracks. Today, we're reviewing the Londonbeat's In the Blood. This album released in 1990 out of England and America by Anxious Records. Just a few years before the boy bands began to dominate the rest of the 90s and early 2000s, Londonbeat were setting up the foundations and laying out the blueprints for those bands to come out and just sweep the pop floor. Thankfully, those non-stop MTV hit machines have finally run out of gas, and you find it right alongside something like this in a local thrift shop. If I sound a little bitter, it's just because my childhood and early adolescence was dominated by this kind of music. After only short listens, a lot of the pop music from that era was just generic and became overwhelming and inescapable. While In the Blood does employ a lot of musical similarities to bands like Backstreet and NSYNC, it also takes some inspiration from bands like Fine Young Cannibals, Michael Jackson, Bon Jovi, and I'd say even there's some hints of Santana influence in here. Not to mention the first couple of tracks still maintain their catchy grooviness, and the band even re-recorded them just last year, almost 30 years after they first wrote them. That said, like the CNC Music Factory review, it does share the 90s curse of being super front-loaded and becoming just kind of a nice background music by the end of it, rather than remaining captivating and engaging throughout the 50-minute runtime of it. And just like Gonna Make You Sweat, go watch that if you're not really enjoying this right now. This album kicks off with the #1 dance hit, Thinking About You. This is Londonbeat's biggest hit. It's a non-stop groove from start to finish. It's smooth and soulful and endlessly remixable. And it's just got one of those choruses you can repeat over and over again all the way until the club closes. They quickly open the album up with the next song, A Better Love. It's a song that features another soft, smooth groove with some far-off electronic guitar and pianos. It's got this great euphoric hook chorus progression that probably would have been a great pick-me-up later in this album, in between all the kind of sadder, cornier love songs that you kind of get bogged down with by the end of this one. They keep it rolling with a cover of Bob Marley's No Woman, No Cry. This is sort of a softer, synthed out, maybe some more soulful attempt at it. It's not a bad rendition, but honestly there are better examples of this one being covered. But it is nice to hear a rendition that isn't totally tasteless, and it does make for a kind of a highlight on this album. The title track is notably the edgiest on the album, and its electro Eurobeat, catchy chorus, trumpet and saxophone interludes are really good things. But it's all kind of immediately undercut by the sort of scratchy, understated, almost spoken word vocal intro. It does wake up and build slowly to a more intense, beat-driven tune, but I think it undercuts the entire momentum that you've built up on the album so far, and either just start off with this song, or don't take so long to build it up, because that very slow intro just sucks out all the energy that was put into me up to this point. Turning to a more funk flavor with Getcha Ya Ya, this song samples a drum beat from the Soul Searchers' Ashley's Roach clip. It's certainly a little lower energy, but they layer on some accordions and a funky bass line, and making up for that lower energy with another super catchy chorus and just the general funk atmosphere that this one has. One moment. A CD exclusive track! Oh yeah, you know I love it. Titled Step Inside My Shoes. This one's where those Michael Jacksonisms step right into the forefront with this sort of man in the mirror-esque track. This one's got a fun message and a good piano chord progression, but like I mentioned earlier, this is sort of the point of the album where it falls into those 90s band Boroisms of all sorts. And the end of this album just turns into a slog of boring tropes and pop topics that are just totally worn out, especially at this point. With songs like She Broke My Heart, She Says She Loves Me, You Love and You Learn, and Crying in the Rain. You Love and You Learn being the closer and probably the most egregious offender, just being soaked in corn and even ending it all off with a almost a cappella outro. Amidst this gruesome lineup, there is one track that is definitely worth mentioning. It's a short, sweet acoustic guitar ballad that it just has the most beautiful vocal performances on the entire album. This one's called This Is Your Life. It's just sweet and with these beautiful harmonies. I can't resist it. Overall, it's certainly not the most thought-provoking music, but it is super catchy, danceable pop. The one major complaint I have with the mastering of it, it just all feels sort of compressed too much, and it feels like it could have been a little bit more dynamic. I am a sucker for those high highs and those low lows on an album, and ultimately I feel like that was just kind of taken away a bit just by the general mixing and mastering of this. It's no feast of an album, but it's certainly meaty enough for your average pop glutton to gnaw on and get a good taste out of. I like a couple of the tracks quite a bit. I'm going to keep holding on to it just for now, and I'll hope I'll keep seeing you holding on to me by subscribing right here and liking this video. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you're feeling healthy and happy. Take good care. Bye-bye.